Okay. Fáilte arás a cardja to my Táim ag foghlama Gaeilge. And again, I hope I'm not only pronouncing that right, but translating it correctly. So fáilte. And gur agat for coming back. So this is just basically another update video as to where I am on my progress with regards to learning Gaeilge. If you're wondering what's happened with the hair, I got my hair cut, so it was a gar me magruga. I know gar was cut, and gruga was definitely. I know gruga is definitely hair. Gruig is hair. So gar me magruig. Actually, I'm on in Duolingo at the moment. Where I am is about cutting hair for some reason, something to do with character, whatever that's about. So, also I'm slightly I'm beagáinín a little bit tuairisceach modern because mar I tá mé a bhí mé ag siúl in I did 80 kilometer. I used to do a lot of running and walking in the past, and I'm just trying to get back into that. So I dusted off the runners yesterday. I went for a long walk. I walked along the Grand Canal, and it's not too far from here, so it's very, very pleasant walk. Anyway, so that explains my also with the land of Nua and so on and so forth. Okay, so just to bring you up to speed, what is going on at the moment? So where am I with my Duolingo? I'm on day 231. So say on average, given a month, 30 days, that's approximately 8 months. And I'm still on unit 4. So I'm still on unit 4, tipping away here. If anyone wants to follow me, I'm on the handle Jason O'Neill. So it's a fairly handy one to follow or to find. So Jason O'Neill, and I'm doing Gaeilge, obviously. And actually, someone pointed out to me that the purple plates do shatter. I had said that I didn't. I thought that they didn't, but someone said to me that they did. And sure enough, the following day, I found some shattered purple plates. So you see, so I am. So progress is going well. I'm coming to the end of Unit 4, and I have to say, the more I use Duolingo, I think the better it is. It is a good resource, I have to say. I do. I do enjoy it. Is it Tatnín Lum or Vime Sasta? No, I was Sasta. Táim Sasta. So Táim Sasta with Duolingo. Duolingo. Sorry. So look, that's probably going to get irritating. But what I'm trying to do is I'm going to probably try and flip back and forth between the couple of focal from time to time to try and make sure that I am using them. So it is going well. The only thing I'd say is I see other people getting 4 and 5. So Chairde and cuid míle points. So 4,000 and 5,000 and more points in a law. And I don't know how people manage to do it. I think Capim may count no Capim that I think the most I could get is about 1,000 points in a day without, it can get a bit boring or you can get a bit tired from it. So, but I see people getting 4,000 and 5,000 points in a day, and I'd marvel at how they do it. I'm so curious as to how people can get so many points. The only thing I can assume is that they're either doing a lot of languages, or there must be some way of getting extra points in a day because naturally, because it's a little bit competitive. It's a competition to keep you going. But like the most I can get is, I'd say the most I could get is about 1,000 in a day. So if anyone knows how people are getting 4,000 and 5,000 points, I'd be very curious to find out. So yeah, so look, I think the thing is, again, I would recommend Duolingo. I think it is the paid version is what I use. I think it's quite good. Okay. So let's have a look at my notes. Okay, so what are my main resources so far? Also, agat to agat for any comments and for following me. Obviously, I got a couple of extra followers there, so welcome aboard, fáilte aboard, and it's good to have you on board. Hopefully, you're on a similar path or trajectory to myself. I'm just trying to think. So slee is way. So hopefully on a similar way to myself. And maybe one day we can have a proper córa le chéile as Gaeilge. Anyway, so the main resources I'm using at the moment are, as I mentioned, Duolingo and Google Translate and YouTube. So Duolingo, again, as I outlined, is very good for the kind of, I use it every day, and I use it for practice. Google Translate, I use it for when I'm trying to do exactly that, translate words one way or the other. So sometimes I might hear a word or a phrase, or sometimes I'm trying to think of a word and it's not coming to my mind. So I'll use Google Translate a lot for that. And YouTube, I find YouTube endlessly resourceful for videos. There's just not enough. There's just not enough stuff. That's my main complaint with regards to learning Irish, is that there's just not enough stuff for people to learn Irish out there. But it's better than nothing, I have to say. It is very good. So recent YouTube videos. What's YouTube, Oscar? Tussa Tube? Tube Tussa? God knows. So Liam O'Moinley Gaeilge lessons. That's one to look up. Liam O'Moinley. That was recommended on the class that I was doing, the Conra na Gaeilge class, and that was mentioned. And I think I'd actually heard those videos before, because I think if you do a search, it pops up. So Liam O'Moinley, you may know him from Hot House Flowers. So Hot House Flowers, what's that called? As Gaeilge? Hot te house chalk flowers blahana. Te chalk blahana, possibly. If anyone wants to let me know what the proper translation is for that. So that's quite good. It's 12 lessons, and he covers off some good stuff. In what he does is he basically gives you basic phrases and all like that as well. So that's quite good. Another thing I've discovered is learn Irish before sleeping, which is quite useful. So what it is it's 8 hours of somebody basically saying Irish, like a phrase in English, and then what they'll do then is they'll repeat it as Gaeilge 3 times. So it gives you an opportunity to practice trying to say the sentence. And because it's 8 hours, it's obviously meant to be listened to at night when you're trying to sleep, but I wouldn't do that. I've enough trouble sleeping as it is. So what I tend to do is I tend to drive a lot for work. And I tend to, Alon, Timon, Egober, something like that. That's probably not quite right. Anyway, so it's good to listen to it when I'm driving around, and you can have it in the background practicing your Gaeilge. So the plan, what I'm trying to do is, my strategy for that is that when I can eventually say all of the phrases without the translation, so if I translate them myself, that's when I'll stop listening to it. I'm a long fada way off learn of that. And but it is quite good. Now, it's not 8 hours of unique individual phrases. I think at some stage I think it's repeated. So it could be 4 hours played twice, or maybe more. I'm not sure, but it is quite good. So Cara Ur played twice, and I think but either way, it's very good. And I think what I enjoy about it is that the fact that the resource is there, and it's such a simple thing for somebody to do. And I'm also thinking ahead that in the future, when I get fluent and maybe I can start to give back to the community, that I'm going to do something similar like that as well. Because I have my own ideas about how I would like to be taught Irish. And I think the dream, Bringlode, is it Bringlode? Bringlode. So the dream would be that some stage I can help people to learn. So dona to ag fólam Gaeilge. And again, apologies if my Irish is terrible. I just want to make a note as well that Gaeilge in mo Chríochnaigh, so that's one of the channels I mentioned some time ago, and I probably mentioned this in a previous video. Gaeilge in mo Chríochnaigh, she has she's over 20,000 subscribers now, and I just wanted to say to her, cohort, so congratulations. I don't know, I might need verification, but I think that makes her the largest Irish channel, or the largest channel for the Irish language that I'm aware of. Most people are that I'm aware of. I think other people maybe 4,000 or 5,000 could be the highest, but the bulk of people who use Gaeilge on YouTube are in the hundreds of subs. For her to have 20,000 is phenomenal. I'd imagine at this stage she must be 21 or 22,000. But it's very endearing because I was listening to her video and she put up on the video, she was thanking people because she'd got to Chairde subscribers, so 100 subscribers, and she was thanking people. She was delighted. And to think she's gotten to 20,000 now. So 20,000, fiche míle, is it? Fiche míle subscribers. I always get fiche confused with 50. Even though it's 20, because it just sounds like it should be 50. But anyway, but I just wanted to say, but it just goes to show that if 20,000 people subscribe to her, that there's a huge interest in it out there, and she's really captured and she's tapped into something which is fantastic. So fair ball to her. But the what she delivers is very good quality, and she has a lovely way of delivering it. It's entertaining and funny. She doesn't take herself too seriously. And it's just very nice, fair ball to her, I have to say. So where am I with Conradh Gaeilge? So I recently finished the intensive seachtaine. So is it tree or treeor's people? Is it a seachtaine course? So it was refreshers 1, and it was intensive, an intensive course whereby you did 3 classes a week for 3 weeks. So it was 7 to 8:30, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday for 3 weeks, which was awkward enough to fit in because, as I've said, we've have the new baby, Lanav Nua, Sati, not sure. So we have him in the house. So trying to find that time was hard going. But it is finished. It is finished, and I have signed up for refreshers 2 in September, and that's just normal. That's just 1 class a week that I've signed up for. And what did I think of the intensive course, if anyone is interested? I have to be conscious of what I say because I am the kind of person who can be hypercritical of things. It's just in my nature. If anyone's Briggs-Myers or Myers-Briggs, I'm INTJ, which means I'm a little bit of a perfectionist. I did that Enneagram, if anyone's interested in that kind of stuff, and it makes me a bit of a perfectionist and a bit of a judging type of personality. So I have to be, I know I can be overly critical of things, and I have to be conscious of that. I can also be overly what's the word? If I like something, I can gush. So I have to be conscious of that as well. I try and stay somewhere in the middle. But I think the thing is, I didn't, if I'm honest, I didn't enjoy it as much as I did the previous courses. Not so much because of the intensive nature. And I did raise that with them, in that my view was that intensive meant 3 classes a week for 3 weeks. But the classes would be similar to the previous classes that I did. But I felt that what they did was that there was too much information in the classes, which made them in themselves intensive. But I'd forgive that if the intensive nature of it was such that it was delivered in a way that I felt like I was learning. But I feel in this instance, it's the first course I've done where I felt I didn't learn anything for one reason or another. I did learn some bits and pieces like that. There's an interesting point about goodie, and when you use goodie, and if the word is on and stuff like that as well. But that's probably the only thing that pops into my mind that I took away from that. I think I've outlined my issues with Conradh Gaeilge. I sent them some feedback on the course, and I just feel that there was just too much material. In that it was more about the issue I had with learning Irish in school was that there was just too much, and there wasn't enough time spent actually learning it. It was like by rote. That was my thing. And I felt that this course was somewhat similar to that, in that there was a ton of information given to you, and the pace was very quick. They were trying to cover off too much information in too short a time. And I think if the course was delivered more slowly, with a better pace and a bit more quality and over quantity. I think that would have been better. I would have enjoyed it more. The other issue I felt that I had was that I possibly was maybe not strong enough. So lag sa Gaeilge again in the course, and that there was other people in it who were fluent. From my ear, they sounded fluent to me. They sounded like they were proper Gaeilgeoirs. And my understanding was that these people were in our class with us because one in particular, I think, because they couldn't get enough numbers to do an intensive course at their level, so they were put into our class. And I feel personally, per Santa, that it unbalanced the course, in that me being the weakest link, I was dragging along at the rear, and I think that the person then who was the best set the tone, set the pace, because everything is all Carcalore and Kincha and Shore and Tigam, it's all positive, move on, and this is the thing then. And then obviously then with the instructor, the Moon Tour, having to cover so much material, she was blasting through it and they were okay, and I was left struggling. So maybe I was in the wrong course, but I was assured that I wasn't. So I think that was definitely a problem with the course, and it meant that I didn't enjoy it as much as I did the previous courses. And also I think the structure of it was that it was somewhat chatty, in that there was a little bit of kind of preamble into it, and that's okay as well, that's part of it. But I just felt that the preamble wasted time, and then each evening, instead of the course ending at 8:30, it ran on till say 9 o'clock. And again, I bring you back to the point that I didn't want to leave the course because I'd paid to learn, but also the wife, my bank Haigh, with the Lan of Nua, she's under pressure and looking for a little bit of support, which meant that it was an extra half hour spent. Now again, I could have dropped out of the class at 8:30, but the problem was that the class needed to go on a little bit more to get all the material in, so it was a bit of a catch-22. So I didn't really have a graw for it, and I just didn't enjoy it, and I was a little bit disappointed, so that's but again, I've signed up for refreshers too, and it'll be interesting to see if there's more people at my level. Then we can slow things down a little bit and then go into a little bit more detail, and just make the process a little bit more enjoyable for me. I am paying to learn, and I think throwing tons and tons and tons of information at me is just not the right way. It's just not the right way. The whole idea is that, like, for example, there's a lot of translating, and I think the whole idea should be, now we were given opportunities to read and translate back, and we all seemed to know, we were able to understand and translate back, and that was fine. So clearly it was like, move on because you've got this. But I think more time spent on probably delving into the words and, the various, why the sentence was structured in a certain way would help these kind of things to sink in, as opposed to blasting on through. I suppose in the last criticism, see, I'm getting overly critical. The other criticism I felt was that there was material being lifted from sites and brought into Google Docs and manipulated in there, and that's okay. Again, that's kind of part of it, but I felt there was too much of that. So what was happening was that with that happening, there was too much kind of, I need to copy this and paste it in and then format it, whereas the previous class I had, the notes were all ready, and the Moon Tour relied on using a red, like a red pencil in the computer to kind of make changes and notes and stuff like that as well. So a lot of information wasn't being kind of bounced back and forth. Anyway, so like I said, I've signed up for refreshers a do. Okay, so some useful information, useful websites that you might find useful. Okay. Again, changlin.ie, so that's the online dictionary, and the more I use it, the more powerful I realize it is. That's quite good. Tag.ie, that's a good source for kind of material if you wanted to learn how to translate. I think the tag is basically, from my understanding, is where you go to if you want to do tests to be an Irish teacher. It's that kind of thing, or work on Irish TV. But there's a lot of material in there that our Moon Tour used in refreshers 1, and so you have scripts and you have stories and you have audio to listen to, and it's all tied in together. So that is quite good. That's well worth exploring. So that's tag.ie, T-E-G, punk.ie, I should say. Then there was Terma, TEARMA.ie, which is good. Again, that's terms. So if you're kind of saying astrophysicists, or if you're kind of, it's kind of like if you're looking for not dictionary terms, but probably more language-based terminology. So again, if I went up looking YouTuber, I wouldn't go into Changlin, I'd go into Terma, and it would probably explain YouTube in there better to me. And then there was another one that was Dalty, and that was more to do with kind of like, again, stories and all that kind of stuff. Dalty, so DALTAI.com, which I thought was quite good. So how's progress going in general? I think that it's going well. It's going well. I had a dream the other night that I was talking to a friend of mine in Irish, and I could actually hear him speaking in Irish. I distinctly remember him saying the word "shay," which is odd, but it is going. I am practicing a lot. I do Duolingo every day religiously, and I listen to those recordings when I drive around. So it is. I am, and then obviously trying to do all the various intensive courses. So I do feel like my vocab is very slowly building, and I am starting to get a handle on things like the copula. So is, these things are kind of hard to understand. Why you have to say is? So is because it's a copula, it means equals, and then you can't say ta may in certain ways. So I am kind of getting a handle on those kind of things. And again, how I learn is I have more of an organic way of learning, in that I don't. One of the things I probably struggled with the refreshers one was because, again, it's that kind of, I would describe it as a kind of linear, maybe old school type of bombarding you with information. I need to kind of like organically absorb information and kind of let it build naturally in my mind. So that's why. So again, driving around, listening to tapes, things start to make sense, and I was enjoying that. So for example, I remember the penny dropped for me one day. The pinging dropped for me. Law of one, in that it was Chairde galore. So I was like, oh yeah, lots of right. So Chairde galore, and something recently happened to me as well when I realized me Chairde. So Chairde is right, and me Chairde is wrong. Now, it probably seems like a very obvious and simple thing, but again, that's the kind of thing I was talking about, in that when I was going, oh, me Chairde. Okay, now I know you would say things like you put me to make something sort of the opposite of what the word is, because I've seen that word me used elsewhere. But I've heard the word me Chairde a lot, but I never made the connection that me Chairde and Chairde. So things like that. That's how I would kind of learn and kind of pick things up, that these kind of, all right, okay, that kind of makes sense. But again, if you're rushing through courses, I think that you're never given the time to kind of like absorb these things. And again, maybe I was in the wrong course, and maybe Conor and Gaeilge probably need to create a layer between beginners and refreshers that might suit me better as well. So yeah, I think it is going well. I'm going to stick at it. The other thing is like things like using the word "v," so starting to think of things in the past tense are starting to make a little bit more sense. So that's the point I was making about the copula. So that again, that's hard to kind of, those things are kind of hard to understand. But I'm kind of getting there now. And also the other thing as well, when I'm translating on Google, or not Google, when I'm translating in Duolingo, I'm more aware of things like where on and egg and air and those kind of words go. In the past I didn't, so I translate a sentence. But now I see air is available in the translation, so anyone who uses Duolingo, they'll realize. But also, I'm getting this sense for when I'm looking at a sentence that it's wrong. I know it's wrong, and I'm kind of going, I know it's wrong, but I'm not quite sure why it's wrong. But also, there's certain sentences in Duolingo, it takes me 5, 6, or 7 attempts to get it right. It just seems to be that on some level, the structure of those sentences goes against the structure of Irish in Gaeilge normally, and they kind of confuse me slightly. I've come across some sentences like that. The structure But again, I think that means then I think I'm getting a feel for the Irish on a certain level, that when I come across a sentence that's probably a bit more complicated or structured slightly differently, it's not fitting the model in my mind with regards to the Irish. So that's somewhat interesting. So look, I think that's the thing. I that's a lot now. I think I've covered that off. It's going well. I'll keep on at it, and we'll see. Am I fluent in Irish yet? Definitely not. I'm getting there, but I think, again, long way to go. Okay, so while I'm here, we'll do today's translation. So what I have here is the email that I received from Chríochnaigh with regards to finishing up in the course and next steps with regards to the courses in the future. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to basically translate. I'm going to translate the oops, I can't look down there. I'm going to translate the email back into English, and I forgot I had the translation. The only good thing about needing glasses is, so I don't cheat. When I copy the Irish bit, I copy it and paste it into here, but then I copy the English bit, so I don't read it. What I have to do is take my glasses off. It all goes out of focus, and I'm able to copy and paste without reading it. Okay, so the usual story here is what I'll do is I'm going to copy and paste, and then paste it into. I'm going to try and interpret what it is, and then I copy and paste that into Google. See what Google says, and then at the end of the translation, read what actually Kieran wrote in here. And I've noticed that I have stopped using my Irish. Okay, Jason, that's Misha. Achara, so friend. That's actually an interesting point that in Irish, my understanding is we don't have Mr. and Mrs. and all that stuff. I saw it on Instagram or something, and that the reason being is the gender piece isn't important in Irish, so we're all friends. Okay, Sha muid nish ag dera an corsa. Tá súlagam gur bhain tú sult tarmhathe as bunrang one le Colleen. Tá cúpla nótaí agam hias. Okay, so what's he saying here? Sha muid sha. So it's sha. Is that like this? Sha. That. No, sha. Sha. Shin is that. Sha. So shin is that. Sha is this. So this. So muid inish now agdera the end. So something to do at the end of the course. Now that we're at the end of the, now I am translating this. I didn't read this before, so I am kind of translating this, right? So shop with nish egdera an corsi. So again, I think it's like now that we're at the end of the course. Ta sulagum gor, so ta sulagum I hope. So I like that phrase. Ta sulagum I hope gor van to sult. So you is Tarv as bunrang one with Colleen. So tá súlagam gur van tá sult. I don't know. Something. Did you enjoy the course with Colleen? Tá cúpla nótaí agam. I have a couple of notes for you below. So let's just see. Let's just translate this. Jason, my friend. Here we are now at the beginning. At the end of the course. I hope you enjoyed Colleen's Beginners 1 and benefited. I have a few notes and benefited. Okay, I hope you will. Unfortunately, I didn't. Well, again, that's me being overly critical. I'd say I did benefit in some level, but not as much as I wanted to. Okay, so sult. I recognize that, so bon sultas. So sult bon. So happy birthday is Brehla. Oh no, Brehla Huna. Anyway, so I know sult because I see. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. Tá cúpla agam. I have a few notes for you below. So tá cúpla nótaí agam dit dias. Okay, so that's not so bad. In inieta sa rifost seo tá de testis Má thugann tú ein botún nó LFW ráthar. I know, see that DH is a r, isn't it? Rá leis tar as chuigam an seo láthraach. Oh, right, okay. So something in the email seo, in this email, so I think it's going to be something like my certificate. I think that's what it is, right? I'm assuming that's what it is. Má thugann tú ein. So, if I know, yeah. So if I've made any mistakes, or ella fui dera. So ella fui. So something about other with taréis ash chugam an seo láthraach. Not sure, but I think the gist of it is if he's made any mistakes from saying, knowing what courses and stuff are like. I think what he's saying is my certificate is here, and if he's made any mistakes, to get back to him. But that's, I'm guessing. Certificates enclosed. All right. Iniata serifos. Enclosed in this email is your certificate. Sha ta de ta. So tastus is certificate. Sounds very Latin. Má thugann tú ein botún. If you notice any mistakes, má thugann tú ein botún. Okay, or anything else, or ella fui with it. Dara leis. All right, okay, there you go. Leis with. Tar aréis chugam an seo. So come back to here immediately. So it's interesting because you see láithreach there. So like Amshire láithreach. Come back to me here immediately. I'm sure that's a Google translation, and that's probably not exactly what he said. Okay. Okay, I got some of that. Let's go to the next one. Boom. Sherve asolish. Now, Olus of Olus. Olus's information, isn't it? Something. Is it like service? I'm not sure. Okay. Mar chuid dar null chun chin. Brim service as Olish chuig fólamiori egg. Derek gach terme. Tias tá nasc chuig Google form. Okay. Madger leis an corsa. Ba jas lom de smainte conas a bhí an terme dit ó híomh ulvacán muintir agus eile de. Okay, so mar chuid gar nó chun cin. So all I get is chuid is like chuid is part or portion. Dar dul. So that's out. Or no, not out. Good, like goodie, ag dul. Chun, dona. Cuirim. So cuirim service as Olish. Is that like feedback? Chuig. Chuig. Fólamiori. Don't know. Ag dira gacht at the end of the term. Tis tá nás chuig Google form. Madder leis an corsi with the course. So is it if you have any issues? Ba jas lom. So jas lom. De smuinte conas a bhí an term dit ó híomh ulvacán. That sounds a lot like the word owl. Muintir. Oh, is it like wisdom or something like that? Is it? Okay, let's just say that's a toughie. That is a toughie. Let's have a look. Feedback survey. Mar as part of our progress, mar chuid dar dul chun chin. Cuirim, I send a feedback survey to the learners. Chulcin service as Olish chuig fólam. All right, okay, so learners fólam learning. So fólam mori. That's at the end of each term. Ag dere gach. All right, so at the end of each term. Thias below ta nasc chuig Google form for the course form module leis an. But Jess, I love your ideas, but Jess Lum does smuinte. Alright, so of course, smuinte is like thoughts and ideas, clearly. Erchonis, the term was for you in terms of preparation. V on term it did a tave overcon in terms of preparation teachers agus elle. Okay, so I did give my feedback on it. That is tough now. See, so obviously, well, his Irish is going to be brilliant. That is tough. And I did send my feedback. Now, the only thing I would say, the other people that were on the course loved it, right? So they thought it was the bee's knees. They were delighted with it. So I'd say again, it was clearly me that had problems with it. But listen, they're not paying for me. I'm paying for myself. So they're going to get my feedback. Let's have a read of it first. Terma on 4. So for autumn, the autumn term 2021. Doger may rangana terma. I'm sure this is very painful for anyone who's brilliant at Irish to listen to. So gamaleshka, tabronor, Doger or Dogger may rangana terma on 4. Inye Shiv Grace on Conharte thus to soi terme on 4 on 20 man 4 agus tá rangana modern agus san ihe all a gwyn tá 19 rang agsúla all or is it fall agus né lawal agsúla líne haar ga amzan amzan okay is féidir gach rang líne eáil tríd an nasc seo. What? Well, actually, before I try, let's have a look. Let's see. Doger may rangan term on 4. So is it the autumn today? Sheev. Don't know. Tasoig term on the autumn man 4 September. August tá rangana the classes margin August. Alright, in the morning and is it in the evening again for us. Tá 19 rang. There's 19 classes all August 9 on. Alright, okay. The fact that I kind of see that he's saying something about there's going to be classes online, does that mean they're going back? They're going back to physically have classes because of COVID. The 19 rang agsúla all August 9 agsúla online. Oh, Amazon. Alright. Oh, is it Zoom? I don't know. Is féidir gach rang líne is féidir gach rang líne a bheith altrid an nasc seo. Don't know. I'm really struggling on translating this one. Really struggling today. I think I've copied this already. Let's have a look. I announced the autumn term classes yesterday on Canada. Dógar mé rangana terma on 4 inné on Chiamh Grayson on Chónarta. I announced the autumn term classes yesterday on the CnaG website. Tusoig term on 4. The autumn term starts on the 20th September. Agus man fóthair. Oh yeah, I got that. Agus tá rangana I got that in the morning and in the evening. Ihe all a gwyn. There are 19 rang agsúla all available and 9 different levels. Alright, now okay. I was getting this one wrong. I was barking up the wrong tree here. Tá 19 classes available and 9 different levels online. I got the Airlina. Alright. Over 2 time zones. Okay, so over. See, it's interesting because I knew the word har, but when you're reading it, you just, I don't know. This is why I struggled with Irish in the first place, I think. Amazon. Alright, so it's not Amazon. Time zones. Amazon. So zone in Irish. It's interesting to see the word Z. Is féidir gach rangan Airlina eáil trid on measctha. All online classes can be viewed via this link. Is féidir gach rangan. Wow. Okay. Oh. Don't want to be cheating. I might as well just do the whole thing. Let's see. No, actually, because you know what? Because it'll be too hard. Ní hoán go meg, or is it beg? Go beg terma on fóthair Airlina a gwyn ach tá rangana fisiciúla le bheith an. Okay, so 6 Strad, that's an address. Ag tosú on seachtaine chéine. Má tá coinnigh ort hart baile a clé agus spéis agat a bheith as sa seomra ranga. Click on seo. 1. Something ní 1. I'm not sure. Something 1. Meg term on 4. So something that determined the autumn online again. Ach but tá rangana fisciúla bheith as in. So I think they are physically going back. Ag tosú on seachtaine chéine. So something to do with weeks. Má tá coinnigh. So Táim McConey. So coinnigh, is that like, oh, it's not living, but it's one of those coinnigh words. Okay, what ort heart valia aha. Oh no, it is, yeah. Okay, má tá coinnigh. So if you're living in Dublin, agus spéis like spatial, is that interesting? If you have an interest, I think a bheith as on seomra ranga on the classroom. Click here. So if you have an interest, so no, again, not sure. Ní darmad on cod. Ní darmad on cod. CnaG 2021. You said lesh on las all. Now again, I know they offer discounts. They give you a little discount. It's about a tenner. So if you use that code, you can get a discount. I think I get the discount because I paid for the previous class. But I did notice that their prices are going up. And so when I first signed up, I think they've gone up by a tenner. So it was 140 I paid for the first course, I think. And then the next one I got the €10 discount, so I paid for 130. Now it's 150. And I get my tenner off, so I'm back to paying 140. But like, you know, 140 euro for learning is good. And considering if you went to the pub and you were to stay there for the evening and then have a chipper on the way home and pay for a taxi, you wouldn't see much out of €140. Anyway, so ná dermid on cod. So cod is obviously code. Use leis with on something. I'm not sure. Again, I don't know. Sin umsa. Sin so that's it. Umsa. That's it from me? Mas féidir ein. Not sure. Cara éile a thuairt dit. Go háirithe le léithil tar thugam ein uair. Tar thugam hug me. I think is it gave. So tar, so that's past ein uair. Anytime. So that's it for me. Mas féidir a ein, don't know, eile. Mas féidir ein cara eile a thuairt did. I'm going to assume something like I don't have anything else for you. Go háirithe level. Good go. Yeah. No, don't know. Let's have a look. Really struggling today. This is obviously very advanced for me. Not only ní haun gemeig term. Not only will we have an autumn term online, ní haun gemeig term on for our Erlina Agwin, but physical classes are back. Octa rangana fisicula. All right, fisicula. And to be honest, this is how I learn Irish. This is by kind of going. All right, so I think the thing is, in future when I see fisicula, I'll make the connection physical, and that's that organic method that I'm kind of talking about how I tend to learn. Leve, so starting the same week. That's a useful term. Igtasu. Oh yes, tasu, starting. Okay. On seachtaine. All right. Okay. Igtasu on seachtaine chearde. Okay. If you live around maith, so that's like if. So if you live around Dublin, Orthart in Ballyhaclia, agus spéise good. So that's it. Are you interested? You're ash. So and if you're in back, click here. Okay, we got that. Don't forget. Okay, ní dermid on cod. I don't think I get in trouble giving our code away. To get the discount. Anyway, if everyone uses it, I think this channel will only get about 20 views, so it's €200. And okay, to get the discount, use it leis on lascán all. That's me. Sin umsa mas féidir lom. That's me. If I can give you any other help, mas féidir lom ein. Oh yes, car. There's a word I heard in the 8-hour thing I was listening to about helping, and I think actually Liam O'Wainley uses the word as well, because it's one of those things was like gamaleshkel, on féidir leat cower dum. On féidir leat cower dum, is it? Can you give me help? Ella, especially with the levels. Carrot Ella, a hurt did. Go háirithe le level, so go háirithe, so especially with the levels. Come to me anytime. Tar chuigam ein uair. Come to me anytime. Very good. So let's see what the actual translation was, and where we're a million miles off. Here we are at the beginning of the course. I hope Round 1 with Colleen was useful and you enjoyed it. I have a couple of notes below. So what was this? Here we are now at the end of the course. Here we now at the end. Did I say beginning? Sorry. Here we are now at the end of the course. I hope you enjoyed Colleen's Beginners 1. I hope 111 with Colleen was useful to you and you enjoyed it. Now again, Google is translating his Irish, and I'm sure he has retranslated what he wrote into English himself to hence explain the difference. I have a couple of notes below, a few notes below. certificates. Attached to this email is your certificate. If you notice any mistakes or anything amiss with it, reply to me here ASAP. Enclosed in this email are your certificates. If you notice any mistakes or anything else with it, come back to me here immediately. Interesting. As part of our continued development, I usually invite learners to take part in a survey at the end of the term. Below is a Google form survey. I would like to know your thoughts about this course, how this course ran, and in terms of organisation and teachers and more. That's good that they ask that. That is good that they ask that. I don't think it was a million miles off. And I announced the autumn term 2021 yesterday on Coinnigh website. I think that's pretty close. Autumn term shall begin the week of the 20th of September. And as usual, I don't think that was in there, was it? Term starts 20, and we have morning and evening classes available. He didn't say and as usual, I don't think. There are 19 online classes, which is pretty similar, to choose from across 9 level situations, 2 time zones. Zone. You can see and register for online. And then where's the rest of this? And not only should we have classes during autumn, but the term. Okay, that's enough. Okay, so it's not a million miles off. So there you go. So that's today's painful translation. It's painful for me, but worth doing because I think this is how I learn. This exposure to words that I'm not sure, and also exposure to thing. And the last thing I was going to say, I have ordered a book. There's one other thing as well. There's a book I've ordered. Let me just see now. Yeah, so what I did was I ordered from Amazon a book called Progress in Irish, a graded course for beginners and revision. So I've ordered that from Amazon. It's supposed to be here by Friday, and it hasn't shown up. And that's the only thing I hate about Amazon, is that if I don't order it from Amazon directly, it's a right palaver to get things from their suppliers. But anyway, so that was recommended. Actually, there's a guy on YouTube who does a review of each of the chapters. I'll try and dig out the name of the channel, and he reviews. But it seems like a good book to buy. So I'm gonna, hopefully it arrives next week, and I can start to use it. And my plan here is basically to translate this book and use it as a form of practicing words that I don't use all the time, and so on and so forth. So that's it. So CnaG, gur maith agat. If you've any ceist or feedback, you can be brutally honest. You can send me the feedback, and I'll leave it there. So slán agus feici mé hu.